Hi everyone, Stacy here with the Bargain Bandit. Welcome to episode 16. Today's date is September 25th, 2012. And for those of you who might just be joining us for the first episode, this is a show where I talk about items that I have acquired at estate sales, thrift stores, and yard sales and sold on eBay for the most part. So I hope you enjoy, and I am going to be switching it up again. I really hated the way I began the last episode. I know I was trying something new, and upon reflection, I didn't like it at all. So basically, it's the same format as last time, sans the first segment. So I'm going to jump right into items I've recently sold, go into my top 3 favorite picks, and finishing it up with a Q&A. So be sure to leave your questions if you have any questions about anything that I might be able to answer down below. And thank you to all my subscribers and all the people who like this video. I really appreciate your support. And without further ado, let's get on with the good stuff. A while ago, I sold some rubber stamps from a company called Stamping Alive for the most part, and those sold pretty quick, and I got an okay amount of money for them. I had bought them at a yard sale super cheap. The person didn't really know what they were and was getting rid of what their grandmother had. Once upon a time, I endeavored to scrapbook myself, and so I had a bunch of stamps laying around that I was never going to use again because my scrapbooking days were, short-lived. And so I decided to go ahead and gather up all the stamps I had acquired and sell them on eBay. These were not name brand stamps. These were the bargain stamps that I found in the bargain bin. But I still, made a profit on them when you consider, they were just laying around the house. I mean, if you count what I originally paid for them, I didn't make a profit. But, we're not going to count that. We're just going to say they were free because they were laying around the house. So, yeah, so I sold the second set of rubber stamps I had. And if you ever see like some collections of really good, rubber stamps, themed rubber stamps, and you can get them for cheap, pick those up. Those will sell. The crafters love those types of things. So scrapbooking is still a big business. But for the most part, people who have those want a lot more money for them than you could get on eBay even. So most of the time they're not worth picking up. But if you got somebody selling them super cheap, pick them up. Few videos ago, I showed as one of my top 3 favorite picks the Thomas the Train Engine 3T children's jacket with a hood, and I sold that. No big surprise, I knew that would sell quickly, and I'm not one who normally deals in clothing, but for some reason this article of clothing just caught my attention at the sale I was at. Because it had Thomas on it, and I know Thomas stuff is super popular. It sells really well and really easily in general. And it was a unique looking jacket. It had a lot of colors to it. It was in good condition. So I thought, what the hey, I'll pick it up. She only wants 50 cents for it. It's not a huge loss. If I, have to resell it at a yard sale or something, I can get 50 cents out of it. But it sold on eBay for, I did pretty good on it. I'm, very pleased that my first foray into clothing was successful. This is not marking a new endeavor for me in clothing. I'm generally not going to buy clothing at yard sales and sell it, but it's kind of neat that I was able to sell something clothing-like. I did sell a few board games recently, and one of them was a game that I picked up on a whim at a yard sale that I didn't think was going to go for very much. And it didn't have a whole lot of pieces to it. It has a question and answer booklet, it had 4 dry erase boards, and it had some markers. That was the extent of the game. But it's called the Newlywed Game, and it's a chance for couples to prove that they're the best couple, and I guess it's a good party game for that. So I was able to sell that, and I like games, so I'm always happy when I can sell one, even if it's the Newlywed Game. This next item I sold is a game that I'd sold before, and it's called Sequence. And it's kind of a fun game where people have to make a sequence with their chips by drawing cards on this giant board. It's kind of like a mix of like bingo or keno maybe, and poker and rummy. I'm not sure. It's kind of a neat, fun family game. Actually, it's kind of family oriented. I sold one before, and I sold another one, and I still have. I pick that game up every time I see it, so I've got one more. I'm gonna throw that one up today and get that one sold. So I only put one game up at a time when I have multiples of a game. And when that one sells, then I put up the next one, mainly to create less confusion for me because each game's condition is different. So, with the sequences, they're all pretty similar condition, but, one had like a little gouge in the box and the other one didn't have a gouge in the box. So I tend to only sell one on eBay at a time, and when that one sells, then I'll put up the next one and, with a new description. So that's what I do when I have multiples of a game. And but sequence, it's an eventual sell, so it's worth picking up. The final item I'm going to talk about is another thing I had just laying around the house, but I do see it at yard sales quite often, so it's worth picking up if you can find it for the right price. The problem is the right price, because there's not a whole lot of value in these, and it's the V-Smile products. I had 8 V-Smile games. I had like a Toy Story and a SpongeBob, a whole bunch of different ones. And I didn't make a whole lot of money off of them. I made probably about $1 a cartridge, because I had 8 of them, and maybe $2 a cartridge. So that kind of gives you an idea of like what to pick it up for. If you can pick it up for 50 cents a cartridge, you can probably make an okay profit on it. But if you're going to pick it up for $1.50 a cartridge, which is usually what people want for these things, there's no money to be had in it. That's straight up buy it for personal use and not for resale. And it's kind of like that with video games. A lot of people want too much money for Xbox games and that sort of thing. They think, oh, I paid $60 for it. It's got to be worth at least $5. Well, that's pretty much what we can get for a lot of those on eBay. Maybe a couple dollars more. There's no money to be had when you're buying video games for $5. The same thing with the V-Smile cartridges. If you can't get them for 50 cents a piece, then there's no money to be had in them. Now for my top 3 favorite picks from the past weekend, and I think this is my favorite segment of all. I kind of like showing off my picking prowess and kind of the things that I've picked up. Almost everything that I show in this segment actually sells. so it kind of shows that like I have a pretty good instinct too on what is actually good. So the first thing I'm going to show is actually a costume. And we got costume season coming up, Halloween, so costumes will and do sell this time of year. I'm not sure for how much. This is my first Halloween, so I'm going to be learning a few things. But so this is a Spartan Spirit cheerleader. I don't remember what they do, but I used to watch this with Will Ferrell. This is Will Ferrell's costume, the man's costume. It had never been worn. It's still got the original packaging. The shirt still has the cardboard inside of it to keep help with the shape. The pants are just loose, but it had never been worn. So and it's in good condition. It's clean. I only paid $1 for it. It's always good when you're going to get a costume for $1 because you're usually going to be able to get more than $1 out of a costume. So this is kind of a neat thing. I saw one sold September 13th for $25 with free shipping, and it's not going to be too bad to ship. It's not super heavy. So I've got mine up for about that, and we'll see how long it takes to sell. But this is one of my favorite picks because it's kind of a neat costume. And I have a few costumes up there right now, but that's probably my best one. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is this, and I have to throw a shout out now to the Paper Castle. Thanks to her, I picked these up. She had mentioned that she picked up some cross-stitching kits, and I could have killed myself when I heard her say how much money she was making on cross-stitching kits, because I see them all the time, and I thought there was no value in them, so I just bypassed the kits all the time. But this is not a cross-stitching kit. This is a latch hook kit, and this is actually a latch hook kit from 1988, so it's kind of a vintage kit. I picked up 3 of these. 2 of them are these big ones, 20 by 27, which are considered rug size, and then one of them was a 12 by 12, not worth as much. I got them for $2 a piece, and so I'm kind of gonna see how these sell. I've got them all up. I don't know if they're what they're gonna sell for, how they're gonna sell. I know that she did really well on the cross stitch kits. And I hope to do as well with latch hook kits, and if I see cross stitch kits, I'll be picking them up from now on. Yeah, I could have like, when I heard her talking about it, I'm like, no, you're kidding me, they're worth money. I had no Yeah. So hopefully the latch hook kits, I was looking, doing some research on them. They sell pretty well, especially the bigger ones, the 20 by 27s. They're rug size. They sell really well. And the better the design. This one's got Victorian roses. I've got one that says God Bless America, and then my small one is a Noel, peppermint Noel. So the latch hook kit is kind of neat, and we'll see how that sells. Hopefully in the next video I'll be telling you about that. And the last thing I got from the thrift store. I went to a Goodwill. And normally I go to Goodwill and I walk out empty-handed because their prices are just so ridiculous sometimes. Like, seriously, they price some things for more than you'd pay at Walmart for them. It's kind of crazy. So most of the time I walk out feeling really frustrated. Like, I can't believe they're pricing things so high. They get this stuff for free. And it's a thrift store. But, whatever. They can price things whatever they want. But every once in a while you'll come across something at these thrift stores that people just didn't know what they had when they just popped on whatever price that they thought it was worth. And this is one of those things. And this is a set of Puremco marble-like dominoes. This is not a vintage set. Some people mistake this box, look at it, and it says marble-like, and they think, oh, I've got a vintage set of dominoes. No, this box here is not vintage. But it's still pretty cool. These dominoes are in great condition. And what I really like about them is they got Bluebell advertising on them. Isn't that cool? I don't think these dominoes have ever been played with because the white cardboard is still between the two rows of dominoes. You can kind of see the white cardboard is still there. So they've never really been played with. They're in fabulous condition. The box is in pretty good condition. There's a little scraping right here, but that's all. That's it. Otherwise, these dominoes are in fantastic condition. I paid $2 for them. I'm hoping to get at least $25 out of them because of the advertising. I've sold a set of Puremco dominoes for $10 before that had like some kind of weird logo on it that I could not find no matter how hard I searched the internet for it. So I still to this day have no idea what the logo is. But the Puremco, the Bluebell advertising should make these dominoes worth a little bit more. And there you have it, my top 3, which will hopefully all be sold by this time next week. The question this week comes from 5 Minute Nap. This person asks, how detailed do you have to be about your eBay products? Do you have to explain every scratch or ding, or is it just a buyer beware kind of thing? My answer to that is it's never a buyer beware kind of thing because buyers will complain about everything. So you really have to be extremely detailed in your descriptions or you're going to get a lot of buyer complaints. A lot of sellers I do see like selling board games and they're not describing things accurately, but they put a lot of pictures up, which is just as good as, hey, I'd put a picture of that defect up so you can't complain about it. I personally am extremely detailed in both my description and my pictures. I try and put pictures up of every defect. I try and describe every defect. And, this is partially because I really want my customers to be happy with their product when they get it. I don't want them to, complain or be upset or disappointed and give me bad feedback because, bad feedback is like the worst thing to a seller. You don't want bad feedback. So I hope that answers your question. Just try and be as detailed as you can be. And yeah, it takes a little time to do that, but it's worth it in the long run. That's the end of the show. Thank you everyone for watching. Please comment down below and leave me some questions. I love to answer the Q&A thing. Please like me and subscribe. Thank you to all my subscribers. I have 35 now, and I'm thinking like when we hit 100, we'll do something. So tell people to subscribe so that we can get to 100, and I'll do some kind of promotion or something or other. Also, please, everyone, please add me to Facebook. Like me on Facebook, Craft House of Cards. I really want to get my Facebook page going, so I would appreciate any help you can in doing that. And that's about it. So thank you, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye!